Jerrie Mock. First woman solo around the world. I did not know about her. Jerrie Mock, 1925 to 2014, did in 1964 what Amelia Earhart failed to do in 1937. Mock was awarded a medal by President Johnson. She was also the first U.S. citizen to receive a medal from the Fédération Aéronautique Internationale. Mock's aircraft was a 1953 Cessna 180 Skywagon, shown here. Surprisingly, there is not a 180 in MSFS 2020, so we'll take a sort of similar Cessna 190 business liner. Pay where? Mock Cessna 180 was modified by the addition of two large fuel tanks behind her seat, a new motor, an airline-type compass to replace the little Spirit compass, two radio detection finders, two short-range radios, and a long-range HF radio. It was very cramped inside. All but the pilot seat were removed. This book was a key resource for this video. The video covers a flight as far as Cairo. If there is sufficient interest, I will continue her flight in a second video. Her flight led to several first-woman flight records: solo around the world, solo across both Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, single-engine aircraft across Pacific, Pacific west to east, and North Atlantic from USA to Africa. By a wide margin, Mock beat Joan Merriam Smith, who was attempting a similar record at the same time in a twin-engine aircraft. Flight plan: Columbus, USA, to Cairo, Egypt. Columbus to Bermuda. KCMH John Glenn Columbus International Airport, Ohio, USA. Freeware scenery. Opened in 1929 as Columbus Municipal Hangar on a site selected by Charles Lindbergh as part of the Transcontinental Air Transport, TAT, Air Rail, New York, Los Angeles route. Note, see my videos on TAT, Golden Oldies number 15. 1929, first Trans-USA airline passenger flights, coast to coast, parts 1 and 2, dated 15 and the 23rd of April, 2022. During World War II, Columbus was Naval Air Station Columbus and was home to Air Force Factory 85 operated by North American Aviation, making Sabre, Vigilante, Buckeye, Trojan and Bronco military aircraft. At 10:30 a.m., the 19th of March 1964, Mock departed Columbus, flying VFR. As she turned on the autopilot to climb to 7,500 feet, above scattered to broken clouds, she overheard an ATC controller say, "Well, I guess that's the last we'll hear from her." Leaving the USA coast, Mock was panicky when her long-range HF radio would not work, such that she could not contact New York Oceanic, and again later when her two RDFs gave different readings. She thought she might add to the many ships and aircraft that disappeared mysteriously in the Bermuda Triangle, which she was now approaching. TXKF LF Wade International Airport, Bermuda, British. Freeware scenery. Opened during World War II as Kimberley Field, a joint USAAF-RAF base. It later became U.S. Naval Air Station, Bermuda. In 1995, it was handed over to the civil authorities. Mock arrived at Bermuda on the 19th of March, the same day she left Columbus. She was delayed a week in Bermuda due to bad weather. While there, she had her HF radio fixed, a loose wire, and her aircraft checked. Bermuda to Santa Maria. Mock finally departed Bermuda for the Azores on the 26th of March at 4:56 p.m. En route to the Azores at 9,000 feet, flying at night before dawn, clouds began to envelop her aircraft, and Mock was flying IFR for the first time since getting her IFR rating. She noticed that her aircraft began to slow and lose altitude, even while on autopilot. Panicking, she checked a few things, and finally found ice building up rapidly on the airframe. Mock requested to climb above the cloud to 11,000 feet, and when eventually granted, she was just able to climb slowly on full throttle before it was too late. The air was clear and the aircraft flew level. Later the sun began to rise, and she could see the ice run off the airframe. LPAZ Santa Maria Airport, Azores, Portuguese. Freeware scenery. Opened in 1944 as a military field operated by the USA and Pan Am. After the war, it was handed over to the civil authorities. Approaching Santa Maria, and with some cloud around, Mock was warned by ATC not to run into mountains. Final approach over water, and with fewer clouds, she was able to dodge under clouds and land safely. Having her aircraft checked at Santa Maria, Mock was told her brakes had it, but could not be replaced here. Santa Maria to Casablanca. At 10:22 a.m., the 28th of March, Mock departed the Azores for Casablanca. The strong crosswind threatened to blow her aircraft, with its weak brakes, in circles, and the end of the runway was a long way off. So airport staff suggested she take off direct into the wind, from the huge ramp once used for parking military aircraft. Once airborne, she turned left onto her heading of 116 degrees magnetic, with a handy strong tailwind. Flying in cloud, on autopilot, at 9,500 feet, Mock again experienced icing, this time worse than before. She quickly sought permission up to clear, sunny air at 11,500 feet. The coast of Africa and Casablanca appeared suddenly and much earlier than Mock expected, due to the strong tailwind. Former GMMC Casablanca Anfar Airport, Casablanca, Morocco. Opened in the 1920s by the French colonial government, Anfar was Casablanca's main airport until 1959. During World War II, it was initially taken over by the Nazi-sympathetic Vichy French, and then by the Allied forces. The airport was completely demolished for new housing and parks in the early 2000s. Mock landed safely despite her tailwheel being stuck in the wrong position and vibrating her tail in all directions. Casablanca to Bone. The 30th of March, Mock departed Casablanca for Bone in Algeria, largely following the coast to avoid marginal weather around the mountains. During low scud and mists, she had to fly low over the water. DABB Annaba Robber Batat Airport, Annaba, formerly Bone, Algeria. Default scenery. Opened in 1939 as Les Salines Airport. Then in World War II it was Bone Airfield RAF base. After the war it was a French Air Force base. After Algerian independence in 1962, it became a civilian airport, dodging a large thunderstorm, first by circling for 45 minutes and then going around it. Mock made a safe dusk landing at Bone. Bone to Tripoli. The 31st of March, having left Bone, on her way to Tripoli, Mock noticed her HF radio trailing antenna had unreeled. She had accidentally nudged the antenna electric motor switch. Flicking the switch to reel in the antenna, she then forgot to switch it off, so the motor kept running. Soon she smelled burning in the cockpit and began to panic and look for an emergency landing spot. Eventually realizing the antenna motor was burning, she switched it off and nervously waited a bit. The burning smell dissipated and she continued flying, but now she had no HF radio. HLLT Tripoli International Airport, Tripoli, Libya. Default scenery. Opened in 1934 for the Italian Air Force. Then in World War II it was RAF Idris. It has closed intermittently since 2011 due to Libyan civil wars. Tripoli to Cairo. The 1st of April, after having a faulty starter solenoid replaced, Mock made a delayed departure from Tripoli for Cairo. Inches Air Force Base, Cairo, Egypt. Default scenery. Opened in 1947 as a private airfield for then King Farouk, Inches has been a secret Egyptian Air Force airport since 1954. While fatigued, and after some miscommunication with ATC, Mock landed here by mistake. She was surrounded by soldiers and taken away for investigation. After quite some time, she was allowed to fly onto Cairo. HECA Cairo International Airport, Cairo, Egypt. Freeware scenery. Opened during World War II as John Payne Field Air Force Base for the USAAF. Then after the war it became a civilian airport, now the largest and busiest in Egypt. 7:11 p.m., the 1st of April, after the delay at Inches, Mock finally made it to Cairo. This is where we will leave Mock's flight. Keep watching for some Cessna 180 real-life footage.
The Cessna 180 was in production from 1953 to 1981, during which time 6,183 of the aircraft were produced. They are still highly coveted today because of their reputation as very capable bush aircraft. It became known as the Sky Wagon because, just like the family station wagon, if you could pile everyone in and close the doors, it would take you wherever you wanted to go. In 1964, Jerrie Mock used a Cessna 180 to become the first woman to solo fly around the world.
Nice one.